All right, so synchronous learning. This is the piece that was not mandatory during our distance learning in the spring, but it is now mandatory. Synchronous learning means we're interacting with our students. The students are interacting with each other. We're getting that face to face, even though it's not in person, but it's going to be face to face through Zoom or Google Meets, and it provides that live interaction. So what we're used to as classroom teachers, every day we interact with our kids and we talk to them, they talk to each other, they work and they collaborate. That piece was missing in the spring with our distance learning, and now we need to bring it in. So what strategies can we do in our new Canvas courses that allow collaboration to work more smoothly, to allow that interfacing piece of synchronous interaction to take place? So on this slide, as you're going through, the word synchronous learning is linked, and it'll take us to another slide where I break down different strategies. So when you click on that, it's going to open up um, this. And what I want to focus on are four strategies today. Um, so I want to talk about Canvas. I want to talk about Zoom. I want to talk about Nearpod, which is similar to Pear Deck, if you're familiar with that, and Desmos, and how we could use all these strategies to be synchronous with our students. So our first thing is Canvas. Canvas allows us to do group work. We get assigned discussions by groups. We can do assignments by groups, okay? Collaboration with groups or whole class collaborations on Google Docs. So we're going to walk through some of that stuff. Um, and within this slide, there are other videos. So you can stop this video that you're currently watching and open up, or you can watch this video all the way through and then go back and work through this slide at your own pace and watch the videos. So these are our goals in Canvas, and just me preface this with, when we do all of these, we're going to want to be in Zoom to provide that live talking back and forth to each other. And Zoom has some great features, breakout groups that we're going to talk about in a little bit. So right now, okay, the first thing you have to be able to do in Canvas is to create groups. So you need to watch this video and it'll walk you through. I'm not going to play it during this video, or you could pause right now and open up the slide and watch it. But it allows us to create groups. You can make as many different groups as you want. You could have a group for, so let's say module 1 is 4 weeks. You could put the kids in groups for that and label it module 1 groups, and then those groups don't change for that whole module. Then when module 2 starts, you could create a new group set and call it module 2, and then they'll get new groups. You could do it manually. You could do it random. As you get to know the kids and you want to match them up in a specific way, you could do it manually. But here are the steps. Okay, there's a navigation. You want to go to group set, go to people, go to group set, name the group, select how many groups you want. So if you want groups of 4 and you have 36 students, you go to 9 groups, and automatically you can set it manually or automatically. Put the kids in the groups yourself, or the computer does it. Click save, and now the groups are created. Once you create the groups, they get a new tab in their window. So, and this is a snapshot of a student. Right now on the course navigations over here, something's missing. And after you create group sets, now they have this groups page. So they'll be able to click on that and see who's in their group. They could communicate directly with their group members by using that tab. And as a teacher, you could view those tabs as well. So now once the groups are set, we're able to create assignments with groups, discussions with groups. I would use these same groups in my small breakout sessions when I open up Zoom and create my breakout rooms. You set the kids in the group, so all of a sudden you hit breakout and they're already grouped together with their group mates, so they know who they're working with. So again, watch this video for how to do that. I'll walk you through it step by step in there. Okay. Next thing, is how to create a group assignment. Okay, so in Canvas, you could create assignments by group. So one person turns in the assignment and it turns it in for everyone in the group if they're all working on the same uh, presentation, the same document. If they're all creating their own individual things, then I wouldn't make it a group assignment. I would just let them turn it in individually. There's also a feature that lets you click grade individually if you did make it a group assignment. It all depends on how you want to grade it and how you want them to turn it in. Okay, so if they're working together on one presentation, one grade for the group. If you have them working in a group, but they're all creating their own work and turning in their own work, then do individual grading. But you go to assignment tab or module tab and click add assignment. There's two places where you could add assignments. Give the assignment a name, add detailed directions on how to complete the assignment, select how to submit. So click online, and then there's possible different ways. If you're doing Google Docs, I would have them turn in using a URL. That way they just paste the URL in and it shows up right into the gradebook for me to grade. There's a demonstration of that on the video. You select group assignment and pick the group that you want. So you made your group set. Now you pick that group set, and then you can assign the work to them. Okay, publish and save, and now it's there for them to do. When you make the assignment, you want to give details about how to do it. In the video, I walk you through how you get them to share an assignment and view it and work on the same document together. So that's all in the video. So you can pause now, watch this video, come back to it again later. Group discussions, very similar to group assignments. You go to the discussion tab, add a new discussion, name the discussion, and there's a spot, is this discussion a group? You click yes, and then click the group set again. So once you have your group set, you just click it, and you can see as a teacher, it will populate the groups. Okay, save and publish, and then the students get to work. And now instead of having a whole class discussion board going, you could have just the groups working on a discussion that you have prompted them to work on to help them with an upcoming assignment or the assignment that they're working on. So that's a good way to get the groups interacting. If they can't meet live, they could use a discussion board to meet still. Again, the video has an example of how to do this. Another feature that Canvas has is collaborations. This is great for synchronous work. You could do whole class collaborations or group collaborations. In the first video on how to create a group, I talked about group collaborations, but I think this is a great way for a whole class to work together. Kind of like if you did mini whiteboards in class and you have all the kids hold up their whiteboards, you could do this with collaborations. There's a collaborations tab. Click it, you hit add collaboration, pick the type. So is it going to be a document, a slide, or a spreadsheet? Give it a name, and then click who you want to collaborate with. So if it's whole group, you just click every kid on the class, and it automatically puts them into the collaboration. It means that that document that you just created is now shared with everyone in the class. So they all have access and editing rights to that document. So students will find that in the collaborations tab on their own. So you'll be in Zoom, you'll say, hey, go to the collaborations tab, open up, and whatever name you gave it, and now everyone has access to that document. So I could post a question on Zoom and then have everyone create a new slide, and they could use that slide like a mini whiteboard. They could type in their answer, and then I could see everyone's whiteboard while doing it. There's a good example in this video. So notice and wonder activities, I could put a prompt up and then tell everyone to open up a Google slide. One slide would be labeled, what do you notice? Everyone create their own text box and type in what they notice, and they go to the next slide and type in what they're still wondering. And as a whole class, we did a notice and wonder activity very quickly and organized in a way that everyone's working together. synchronously and see it in real time. So a great way to do this. Again, all these you're using Zoom, so the audio part is still going while the screen is working on these Google Docs. Next, okay, walk you through some Zoom stuff. This is the most critical thing. I think I struggled a lot in summer school because I did not set up norms the way that I normally do in a classroom. So it's important. I'll talk about that. How do you set up a Zoom meeting with Canvas, and how do you create breakout rooms? Then this is probably the most I don't know, underrated. This is a great feature because it makes your room look like a classroom set up in groups. And so it's a great feature that I think we're going to use a lot this year. So with norms, guys, this is two pictures here of screenshots of a Zoom meeting with video on and a Google Meet meeting with no video on. I can tell you right now, when your screen looks like this bottom one here, there's no engagement going on. Half those kids are probably not even in front of their computer screen. And I know that because in summer school, people would just leave their little icon up. And then at the end of the meeting, I would ask everyone to sign out, and there'd still be 10 people logged in because they weren't in front of their computer. They walked away, they weren't paying attention, they muted it. And so when you know and you can see their faces, you know they're there in front of their computer screen. And then if you're using the right activities, you know that they're going to be engaged. So there's specific norms in here that I go over, but having video on is very important. I talk about what happens if the internet goes out and they don't have access, or if the internet goes out and the teacher doesn't have access. So I address all that in the video strategies that I think will make your class work a lot better. So go ahead and watch that video at this point or at the end. So to create a Zoom meeting, it's very easy. You go to zoom.com, you sign in with your Gmail, your school Gmail, click schedule a meeting, fill out all the information. You could do things reoccurring or do this every week. Click save, copy the meeting link, go back to Canvas, paste that into a page. You can label that page for a whole week. You can make a new page for every meeting, however it works best in your classroom. But you just paste all that information in there, save and publish the page, and now Monday morning or Tuesday morning or whenever your class meets for Synchronous, all the kids go to that page, they find the link, and they click on the link and they join with Zoom. There's waiting rooms, so they can't join before you, which I really like. So you let them in while they're in their waiting rooms. You could create the breakout groups or whatever. When you're ready to start the meeting, the kids should already be all in the waiting room. You admit them, and you could start your lesson, whatever you're going to do with Google Doc, breakout rooms, the other strategies I'm about to show with Nearpod and Desmos. Whatever your strategy is for the day, you get it going with the Zoom meeting all together. Explain everything to the kids, and then you can send them off to their breakout rooms. How to create a breakout room. Okay, this is a new feature, which is, like I said, it's going to be great. There's a tab on the bottom of your Zoom. You just click on it once you get the meeting going. How do you set up the breakout rooms? I describe it in detail in the video, but you could do before the meeting if you have rosters loaded in to Zoom. Hopefully that's going to be a feature that we're going to have access to. We don't right now. If you don't, you wait till everyone gets into the waiting room and you just drag them into the rooms that you have. So then once you hit breakout rooms, they're already assigned. You could do it while the meeting's going. But if you already have the groups made and the groups set on Canvas, you already know who's in what group. You have that printed out like a roster, and you just drag them into the correct rooms. So it is, once you figure it out and you do it a couple times, it's not that bad. But it's such a useful tool. And then you could just join rooms and then leave rooms. I would record them. I would allow one person in each room recording access. So they get to record the rooms to just monitor behavior, make sure they're on task. If they know the meeting's being recorded, they're more likely to stay on task. But it's no different in a room when I'm working with one group and the group on the other far side of the room are, what's making sure that they're on task, just themselves and their work ethics and the norms that we set up in the room, make sure that they're working. And you could jump into every room, stay in for a couple of minutes, ask questions. You could bring them back to the big room, have a whole class discussion, send them back down in their breakout rooms. So it is a great way to do group work, task projects, and I talked about that, okay, in this video. Down here, there's a video link at the bottom here to show you how to get the settings into Zoom if they're not set up for you already. Now, a couple strategies for synchronous work is Nearpod, Pear Deck, Desmos. You could create assignments on these websites and then distribute them through Zoom, the link through Zoom, and then the kids are working live interactive with you. Nearpod works great with Google Slides. You can make your own activities. But once you get the activity up and running, you copy the link, you post it into Zoom, and the kids are in Zoom and now they're working. You control the pace of the slides. You see what they're doing. You could have microphones off and they could be talking and asking questions live as the slides come. You could put them in breakout rooms. So they're talking to just a small group of students while trying to work through your slides. And you're controlling the slides through this. It's up to you how you want to run it in your class, but the kids are working. You're giving direct instruction through Google Slides, and then you want them to interact with the slide. You pose a question, you ask them how to do this, what they think, take a poll, so you know that they're following along with your direct instruction and they're engaging in the lesson, and you can monitor their responses to check their understanding. So it's a great way to make direct instruction synchronous and engaging. Because if you're just going through slides and you're not checking for their understanding or making them do anything, they're probably not listening. But they know a Nearpod is attached. They know that they've got to follow along and answer questions. So this is a great way to make direct instruction synchronous and engaging. Desmos, same thing. A lot of us use Desmos in our classroom already, so it's going to be no different. You go to teacher.desmos, create your lesson, or find one that you like, and then you share the link through Zoom. Now the kids are logged into studentdesmos.com, and they're working on their stuff, and you're watching them work. Same thing. You could have mics off so you could hear them talking. Go to small breakout rooms, have them work in groups together, but they're all working individually on their own student Desmos login, but they're talking to each other. You can monitor on teacher Desmos how they're working, what they're doing, bring them back into the big group, show them a slide, give them feedback, send them back out, have them work just like you would in a regular classroom, but it's all done over Zoom and teacher Desmos and studentdesmos.com. So very proficient ways to run your activities. So that pretty much summarizes the different strategies. Again, all those videos on that presentation are about 10 to 15 minutes long. They walk you through examples. I'm doing it for you, videos, so you could pause, you could try it yourself. So anything that I just talked about, there's videos on how to do that in there with examples. So hopefully that clarifies some strategies for synchronous learning. And I think as we start to work together, important that teachers plan together and work together, that we could really get some good small group activities, some whole class synchronous learning going on that's really effective and engaging for our students. So hopefully you found this helpful.